Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum and welcome back in lecture number 16. This is about the Islamic modes of financing and this is about diminishing musharaka. So we have discussed different Islamic modes of financing like murabaha, salam, istisna, musharaka, mudarba, and this is an extension of musharaka. Actually this is the same contract and the terms and conditions are almost same, but this is diminishing musharaka and the applications are different here. So before we go into details, let me remind you, in our previous lecture we discussed certain situations and provided their solutions under the musharaka and mudarba contract. We tried to highlight some practical situations and some problems, and accordingly we try to solve those problems. And about today's lecture, learning outcomes of this lecture are that after this lecture you should be able to understand the concept of diminishing musharaka and features and rules of diminishing musharaka, uses of diminishing musharaka particularly in house financing for 4 purposes. It has different applications particularly in asset financing, but it is mainly used in the house financing under different situations. For example, purchase of house, then construction of house, renovation of house, and balance transfer facility. So we will focus on these 4 things mainly, and then we will also discuss some problems in the end. The diminishing musharaka's definition, as it is clear that this is musharaka, this is a partnership, but the word diminishing adds here, and logically it means that something is diminishing. So we take it as the share of one partner is diminishing in the musharaka, in that partnership agreement. So it's a type of shirka where one partner promises to purchase the other partner's share gradually. So in this partnership arrangement, one of the partners will promise or provide an undertaking that he or she will purchase the shares of the other partner, and gradually the share of one partner will be increasing and share of the other partner will be decreasing. And just like musharaka contract, diminishing musharaka is also of 2 types. One is known as shirkatul aqd. Aqd means that for particular venture, so it's a joint venture where the partners, they get together and they agree to take on particular venture, and this is known as shirkatul aqd. And then there is shirkatul milk. This is a partnership for the joint ownership. So joint ownership would mean that the partners, they jointly purchase any asset and they become owner of that particular asset. First of all, shirkatul aqd, or what we know as joint venture. Joint venture itself is self-explanatory. For example, if more than one people, they get together and they join their resources to engage in any particular business activity, so that is a joint venture. So venture refers to particular business practice. So it may be for a specific time period, it may be for a particular project, or it may continue for some time. In this case, 2 partners, they start business in shirka to earn profits. So the objective is to earn profit, and they join their resources, their capabilities, and they identify a particular opportunity and they start their business to take advantages out of that particular opportunity. And in this particular contract, one of the partners undertakes to purchase the share of another partner gradually at regular intervals. So this is agreed in the agreement, in the contract, that the share of one partner will be purchased by the other, and the intervals, they are also determined, and the price of those shares is determined at the market price. So these details we will be discussing in the coming slides. And the rules of diminishing musharaka in joint venture, there will be an agreement of joint venture between both partners wherein investment of everyone and ratio of profit will be agreed. So this is the same thing as we have already discussed in musharaka and mudarba contract, that what are the terms and conditions for the capital, who is going to manage the partnership, and what will be the ratio of their share of the profits and the losses, as it is clear that it should be shared according to the proportion of investment. And in this case, under the joint venture, one partner undertakes to purchase the share of other partner, but three conditions should be considered in this undertaking. There must be three conditions that should be taken care. First of all, so the first condition is that the promise will not be part of shirka agreement. That means under Islamic economic system, for one particular activity, there cannot be two contracts at the same time. So there should be one contract, and if there is something else regarding that particular matter, there can be some promises, and they will not be part of that particular contract. So the promise to purchase the share of the other partner will not be the part of the contract, but it will be a separate document representing that one of the partner will purchase the share of the other partner in the future, and the price of unit will not be agreed in this promise, but promise to purchase should be on offer and acceptance basis for a valid sale contract at market value at the time of purchase. So again, at the time of purchase of the share of one of the partners, it will not be determined in the contract or in the promise that the value of the share will be such and such. For example, if there were 50% share of the partners, if the partners contributed 50% of capital each, and suppose 50% makes 500,000, and the share of partner A will be purchased by partner B, and it is divided into 5 equal units, so it makes 100,000 each. So it doesn't mean that the share price will remain 100,000 throughout the contract period. At the time of purchase of this one unit, its market value will be determined, and then on the basis of offer and acceptance to make it a valid sale, this will be taken care. And then at the third place, if a promise is not fulfilled, then it can be forced by court of law. If there is a promise from one partner to purchase a share, then that promise can be made binding by the court of law. And discussing the rules of diminishing musharaka in joint venture, at the time of purchase, the price of unit will be decided on the basis of market value of the business. So at the time when the share is going to be sold to the other partner, its market value will be determined, but there are some exceptional cases as well. For example, the partner may agree that it may remain at the same value. For example, in our previous example, as I discussed, that if a unit price is, one unit is of 100,000, but its market value is 110,000, now it's up to the selling partner that he or she charges 100,000 or 110,000, or provide some discount on it. So it all depends upon the selling partner. It depends on the offer and acceptance. And then conditions of valid sale transaction must be observed. The condition of valid sale is that the partner who is selling any asset, he or she should be the owner of that asset, and there should be an offer and acceptance. Otherwise, it will not be a valid sale contract under the Islamic financial system. And units will be purchased through offer and acceptance. And now let's discuss the rules of diminishing musharaka in joint ownership. In the previous slides, we discussed the joint venture, but in this case, this is joint ownership. And in this case again, two or more partners purchase any asset. It may be machinery, plant, it may be a house, any asset, and their intention is that one or both partners will use this asset or rent out their share, and one partner undertakes to purchase the share of other gradually. So in this case, the partners, they get together and they purchase an asset with the intention to rent it out or it to be used by one of the partners. Whereas in case of joint venture, the partners, they get together and they join their resources to invest into particular business. So the interest or the profits of that business, they share according to the agreement, and the losses will according to their investments, and then one of the partner will purchase the share of the other partner gradually. And in this case, in case of joint ownership, an asset is purchased. Suppose a house is purchased, and the partnership goes on the basis of contribution. For example, one partner contributes 80% and the other partner contributes 20% of the price. So in this case, if there is some return out of that, if the house is rented out, then out of the rent of that house, 80% will go to one of the partners, 20% will go to the other partner. And this house can be rented out to any other party, or this house can be rented out to any of the partners. Maybe if this is partner A and this is partner B, so according to the agreement, maybe partner B will take that house and use it on rent. In that case, partner B will pay 80% of the rental amount towards the partner A. And at the same time, if partner A is going to purchase a share of partner A, partner B will purchase the shares based on number of units. So the share of partner A will be divided into number of units, and those number of units will be purchased by the other partner. So there will be an agreement of Shirkatul Milk, and it will be decided how much investment will be made by each partner. So Shirkatul Milk word will be used quite often in this case. In case of joint ownership, there will be an agreement of joint ownership, and it will be decided that how much investment will be contributed by the partners, and it will be determined clearly, just like we discussed the capital in case of Musharaka and Mudaraba. It has the same importance in this case, and the capital contribution will be determined. It will be in the monetary terms or non-monetary contribution. So, and what currency and what will be the mode of contribution. So all these things, they are determined in exact terms. And assets will be purchased, and everyone will be owner of this asset as per the ratio of their investment, and all other rules of Shirkatul Milk will be applicable. So according to their ratio of investment, partners will be the owner into that asset. Suppose it is for a house. So in this case, the worth of the house, suppose it is 500,000. This is just for example, otherwise the price of house maybe it at least should be 5 million. But so in this case, if there are two partners and they contribute 80% and 20%, so then partner A will contribute 400,000 and partner B will contribute 100,000. So accordingly, they are owner into that property in this ratio. And if anything comes out of it, in case of rentals or any profits, so it will be shared in this ratio. And one of the shareek, that is the partner, can rent out his share to other partner or a third party, and ijara agreement will be signed. So ijara agreement we will be discussing in our coming lectures, and it is actually a lease agreement. So one of the partner can rent out his or her share to the other partner, or the partner can rent out his or her share to any third party. But if the nature of the asset is such that, for example, if it is a house, so in that case a house cannot be divided into different parts. So in that case, the other partner may undertake that he or she will take this house on rent. And then within period of ijara, Sharia rulings relating to ijara will be applicable. So during the period, the asset is on ijara basis. So if there is a contract on ijara basis between the client and the owners, so in that case, rulings of Sharia regarding ijara will be applicable on this contract. And one of the partner can promise to purchase the share of another partner, and in this promise, the price of unit may be decided. And again, the price of the unit, it may be decided in this case. But again, the thing is that the market price should be the priority. In case of joint venture, the market price should be determined because the assets are in the market, they are invested in the market in some business activity. So their value should be determined at the time of unit sale and purchase. But in case of Shirkatul Milk, the assets price, the unit price which is going to be purchased by one of the partners may and may not be determined in the market. For example, if A's share, as we discussed in our last slide, if A's share is 400,000, that is 80% of the total contribution, and B's share is 100,000. So in this case, A's share, if divided into 4 units of 100,000 each, so this price may remain fixed during the contract period when it is offered for sale to partner B, and it may be determined on the market basis. So the literature suggests, some recent researches, they suggest that the unit price should be fixed according to the market rate. So in this case, there is some huge benefit for the selling partner. And now we will discuss the termination of diminishing musharaka contract. So subject to agreement or by mutual consent of joint owners, a joint owner may withdraw his share from the joint asset or property after serving a due notice to the other joint owners. So in case of joint ownership, one of the partners may sell his or her share and notify the remaining partners that he or she is going to sell his share. So the remaining partners, they can purchase the share of that outgoing partner, or his or her share, if the nature of asset is such that if it can be sold to some other party, to third party, then it will be sold to the third party. And at any time, any of the partners, they can quit from the partnership. And the withdrawal can be affected by sale or gift to existing joint owners or to any other person. In case of sale, the parties may agree on face value, book value, agreed value, or market value. So the leaving partner has different mechanisms to leave that joint ownership. For example, if the leaving partner gives the property to some of the remaining partners, this is one of the ways to leave the partnership, and he or she may sell it to some other partners or to any third party. And its value can be determined on the face value, on the book value, on the agreed value, or the market value. And the third point is that a withdrawal of one or more joint owners shall not lead to the termination of the joint ownership among remaining joint owners. So if one of the partners is leaving, it means that joint ownership will not terminate. The remaining partners, they will continue that joint ownership. So they may purchase a share of the leaving partner, or the nature of the property is such that if it is a piece of land, then the share of one partner out of that piece of land can be separated and can be sold at any time to the third party. But the remaining partners, they can remain as partners in the joint ownership. And it is permissible for the joint owners to agree on termination of the joint ownership before the agreed period. So if the owners, they decided to invest into a particular property for 1 year, and before that, if the partners, they think that they should sell their property, so they can sell even before 1 year. So this is all upon the agreement between the partners. So this will also lead towards the termination of that joint ownership. And now we will discuss some of the applications of diminishing musharaka, particularly in the housing finance. For example, for the purchase of house, for the construction of house, renovation of house, and balance transfer facility. We will be discussing them one by one in detail. And this term, maybe it's quite new, balance transfer facility. We will explain it in the later slides, but just to inform you that balance transfer facility is that if any of the clients has already entered into a contract with a conventional bank on an interest basis and has purchased some asset, so to get rid of that contract on interest basis, the Islamic bank can help out that client and can help make the whole payment to that conventional bank, and then accordingly, with the worth of that asset, the bank's contribution in the form of payment to the conventional bank will be the share of the Islamic bank. So in that case, Islamic bank becomes partner into that particular asset. So, and then there will be an agreement between the Islamic bank and the client on the basis of diminishing musharaka, and the client will be purchasing the share of the Islamic bank based on the mechanisms. And first of all, we will be discussing the financing for purchase of house. So if a client identifies a house and he or she wants to purchase that house, in that case there can be a diminishing musharaka agreement between the bank and the client, and the conditions or terms and conditions can be based on these points. First of all, the client is in the approved area of the bank makes the choice of house. So the areas will be identified or approved by the banks. For example, if the bank says that in Islamabad, for example, only if this is the total area, land of Islamabad, so in this area, this bank can specify that the bank will finance the house financing only in this particular region. So this is possible. The bank can specify a particular region, and into that region the client will identify a house that will be financed or will be purchased by on the basis of contribution by the Islamic Bank. Then bank and client enter into Musharaka agreement. In this agreement, it is decided to purchase the house jointly and ratio of investment by each other. So then, just like in case of Murabaha agreement, the bank and the client, they enter into an agreement, they sign a memorandum of understanding where the house will be purchased and the bank agrees to finance that transaction. And the client will also contribute some of the share into that transaction. The property will be in the name of the client. In the documents, property will remain in the ownership of the client, but there will be certain other documents that will certify that bank is owner with such and such proportions into this property. And this is Shirkatul Milk. This is a joint ownership. This is not a joint venture. This is a joint ownership. An asset is purchased with an intention that one of the parties, that is the client, will be using that asset, and that there will be a rental agreement, a lease agreement between the client and the bank, and over a period of time the client will make payment to the bank with the rental and the installments, that the price will be determined on the market basis, or the price of the units may remain the same as at the time of the agreement. And according to the ratio of ownership, each one is responsible for the loss. And just like Musharaka and Mudarba contract, according to the ratio of investment, the clients, the partners, they will be responsible to face or to suffer the losses. If the contribution, suppose, was 50% each, then if some losses they happen and they have to sell out that asset, so if there is any loss, so both of the parties, they have to face 50% of the loss. And the bank divides its own part of assets into units, which is promised by the client to purchase on pre-agreed price. So one of the thing is that in Shirkatul Milk, in the joint ownership, the price of unit can be agreed at the time of the contract. But this is also possible, and some recent literature suggests that the price of the unit should be determined in the market, whereas in the joint venture, the price of the unit must be determined at the market value. And after taking the possession of the house, bank rent out its share to the client by execution of Ijara agreement. So when the house is purchased in the specified area which was identified by the client, so then there will be a lease agreement between the client and the Islamic Financial Bank. And the rent for that house will be determined on the market value basis, or it will be agreed between the bank and the client, and then the benchmarks will be set. For example, if the rates in the market, they increase by 10% every year, the bank and the client, they can agree that every year the rent will increase by 10%. So these things can be agreed and will be mentioned in the agreement. And the bank's monthly profit may also be decided as monthly rent of the house, and principal amount will be recovered in the unit price. So the monthly profit of the bank in the form of rental can be determined, and the bank can announce that in such and such project, bank is going to earn this much profit. So in this case, the determination of profit as a percentage of the deposits or the capital is allowed, because the bank is going to earn something out of the rental income which is already determined. And then, as I explained earlier, the rent for a particular period will be determined and it will be mentioned into the contract, and then there will be there can be identified, there can be added another condition that the rent will be renewed after such and such intervals, and it may be fixed every 3 months, every 6 months, every year. But normally the practice which is on the ground is that the people, they increase their rent every year by 10%, but this is not a compulsion. It can be agreed upon between the two parties, and it may be said in the terms and conditions that after every 6 months the market trends will be observed, and then again the rent will be fixed. and each unit will be purchased on the basis of offer and acceptance. So just like in case of joint ownership and joint venture, the sale of unit will be based on the offer and acceptance. So this is only a formality, because in most cases the unit price has already been determined and fixed at the time of the contract, and then it is simply offered at that agreed price and bank would accept it, and this is just a formality. And then the second point is financing for the purchase of plot and construction of house. Actually, this is financing for the construction of house, but the construction of house can be under two situations: that there is a plot already existing and there is no plot at all. So in that case, plot will be purchased and then house will be constructed. And the other situation is that client already possesses a piece of land and on that a house will be constructed. So in both cases, the conditions would be that a musharaka agreement will be signed between bank and client, in which investment of everyone will be agreed. So investment of everyone will be agreed. So it will also be agreed that client as working partner will be responsible for construction. So client will have more responsibilities of the construction of that house. So maybe there is an agreement of agency between the client and the bank. But in this case, if there is a plot and construction is going to be there, so the worth of the plot will be determined if it belongs to the client. So that will be the contribution of the client into that total musharaka agreement, and then the cost of construction will be the investment of the bank, the contribution of the bank. Suppose if the worth of the piece of land was 10 million and the bank contributes 10 million for the construction. So in that case, both have 50% into that particular asset. And then the client will also be appointed as an agent for the construction of house. And both partners will be the owner of the property in same ratio as the ratio of investment. So the ratio in the investment will determine the ownership rate or ratios of the partners. And also the contribution from the bank can be based on certain stages of completion of that house. For example, if a house is going to be built and the contract is signed between the client and the bank, and there can be certain conditions certifying that the house is actually being constructed. So if at the stages when 25% of work has been completed, bank would release 25% of the agreed price. But before that, bank will release at least some token amount, maybe 10% or 20%, and it can further relate it towards the stages of completion. At every completed stage, bank will issue some capital for the next completion phase. And the property will be in the name of the client. So as in this case of diminishing musharaka, property will always be in the name of client. And this is a shirkatul milk. This is a case of joint ownership. And according to the ratio of ownership, each one is responsible for the loss. So again, the losses will be shared according to the investment proportion, and bank will divide its own part of asset into units, and those units will be promised by the client to be purchased on a pre-agreed price. So the word pre-agreed price you will see here again and again. It means at the time of contract, if the share of the bank was suppose 400,000, so at the time of contract, if it is divided into 4 units, so each unit's worth will be determined to be 100,000, or it can be determined at any other price, suppose at 105,000, or it can be determined on the basis of market value. So it will be then offered to the client will offer this price to the bank at the time of purchase of that unit, and then bank will accept that offer. So then it will be a valid sale contract. And after completion of the house, ijara agreement will be signed and bank will give its share of house on rent to the client. Before completion of construction, rent cannot be charged. So the condition is that before the completion, rent cannot be charged. During the construction phase, it will be an investment phase, and then when the house is completed, there will be an ijara agreement, a lease agreement between the bank and the client for the bank's share into that property. So if in the house bank has ownership of 50%, so for that 50% share of the bank, there will be a lease agreement between the bank and the client. So if the total amount of rent for that house is suppose 50,000, so then if bank is owner of 50%, then bank's share would be 25,000 per month. And rent may be fixed on prevailing market value or mutual consent. So the rents can be determined on the prevailing market rates or with the mutual understanding or the agreement between the parties. And bank's monthly profit may also be decided, as monthly rent of the house and principal amount will be recovered in the unit price. So in this case again, bank knows that such and such amount of rental is going to be received by the bank in future. So the bank can announce the rate of return of that particular investment. Otherwise, a fixed rate of return in any deposit or in any investment is not allowed under Islamic economic system. The profits can vary. If you invest into particular business activity, you may earn 25% of your capital investment, or you may earn 1% of your capital investment, or it may be any percentage. So fixation of that percentage is not allowed. But in this particular case, when bank can determine that in future bank is going to receive such and such amount of rent, and then that will make such and such percentage of the capital investment, the bank can announce that. So in that case it will be allowed. And when there will be an ijara agreement between the client and the bank, at that time an amount of rent will be fixed for a particular time period. Suppose for a particular house where bank is owner of 50%, both have 50% share in the ownership, and the rent at the time of contract is determined to be 50,000. So in that case, every month bank will have its share of 25,000. So this rent will be determined at the time of the contract, and it will be determined for a particular time period. It will be fixed for a time period, suppose for 6 months. And then it may increase with a fixed percentage according to the prevailing market phenomena, or after 6 months it may be agreed upon again depending upon the market values or market rates. So at the end of 6 months further, and then after 6 months there can be another agreement on the rent of that house. Suppose after 6 months the rent is fixed to 60,000. So in that case the share of each contributor or each partner would be 30,000 each if the partnership remains 50% and 50% each. But if the units are purchased and then the ownership changes like that, one partner's share goes to 60% and one partner's share goes to 40%. So in that case the rent will be divided according to the new ratio. So in this case the new rents would be 36,000 and 24,000. In the previous slides we discussed the case where the plot for construction of house was purchased and house was also constructed on it. And then the next case is that if the client already possesses a plot and he needs financing for construction of house on it. So in that case the contribution of the client would be the share or the worth of that plot, and the contribution of the Islamic bank would be the financing provided for the construction of house over that plot. So in this case valuation of plot will be made. This value will be investment of the client in Musharaka agreement, and bank's financing for construction will be investment of the bank. And Musharaka agreement will be signed between bank and client, in which investment of everyone will be agreed. It will also be agreed that client as working partner will be responsible for the construction, just in the case of previous slides. And the agreement on the worth of plot and the contribution by the bank is very much important. At the time the bank agrees to engage into this particular activity. So the values must be determined in advance. And the remaining conditions, they are somewhat same as we discussed in our previous case, that both the partners will be owner of the property in the same ratio as the ratio of their investment, and the property will be in the name of client. Properties will always be in the name of client, and this is the case of joint ownership. This is a shirkatul milk, and according to the ratio of ownership, each one is responsible for the loss, and bank will divide its own part of assets into units, which is promised by the client to purchase on pre-agreed price. So normally banks will determine the pre-agreed price for their units, and after completion of that particular house, there will be an ijara agreement or lease agreement between the client and the bank, and the agreement will be signed under the Sharia rulings, and the rent may be fixed on prevailing market value or with mutual consent. And with mutual consent, it can be more than the prevailing market price, or it can be less than the prevailing market price. And then bank's monthly profit may also be decided, as monthly rent of the house and principal amount will be recovered in the unit price. So this is again is possible, that's because bank is going to earn rent in the future, so bank can announce a return on its investment. And in ijara agreement, a lump sum amount of rent is necessary to be fixed for a certain period. Rent for the rest of the period may be linked with agreed benchmark. The point has already been explained. And before 1 year, client cannot purchase bank's unit. So some of the literature they suggest, so in case of financing for the construction of house, the house should be on the rent for 1 year at least. But many of the scholars, they have not mentioned this condition. But again, I think this is the agreement between the client and the bank. It may be for the 1 year, for the 6 months, or for any number of time period. And particularly, if the banks, the state banks, the governing banks, they fix such kind of conditions that in case of diminishing musharaka contract, the rentals must be paid for 1 year, and after that units can be sold and purchased. So then it can be one of the conditions. Otherwise, it is up to the parties that if they agree, they can start they can start selling the units after 6 months, after 9 months, or after 1 year, or after any number of time period. And each unit will be purchased on the basis of offer and acceptance to make it a valid sale contract. And at the third place, financing for renovation of house. So in this case, client is already possessing a house and it needs some renovation. So in that case, if the client doesn't have enough capital with him or her, so the client can approach the bank for financing for the renovation of the house, and the conditions would be almost same as in the case of the first two financing we discussed. That is for the purchase of house and then for the construction of house. And valuation of house will be made, and this value will be treated as investment of client in musharaka agreement, and renovation amount will be considered as bank's investment. So in this case, the client's investment will be more naturally that a house is there, it has been constructed on a plot, so the plot has its worth, then house has its worth, it needs only renovation. So in this case, maybe 90% of the share is from the client and 10% share comes from the bank. And then bank's share will be further divided into units, and those units will be purchased by the client to make its share to 100%. But during that period, the rent of that property will be determined, and 10% of the rent will go to the bank. And when the share of the bank reduces after the selling of the number of units, then accordingly the share of rent will also reduce. In this case, musharaka agreement will be signed between the bank and client, and investment of everyone will be agreed, and it will be agreed that client is a working partner and will be responsible for the renovation. And both the partners will be owner of the house in same ratio as the ratio of their investment. So the worth of that house, of that property will be determined in the market, and that will be the contribution of the client. And then the capital required to furnish or to renovate that house will be the investment of the bank. And again, the property will remain in the name of the client, and this is a case of joint ownership. And according to the ratio of ownership, each one is responsible for the loss. And if certain instances happen and that property has to be sold, and in that case, the loss will go, if there is some capital loss, in that case, losses will be adjusted according to the proportion of investment. So this is not possible that proportion of investment is 90% and 10%, but the losses would be shared on 50% each. This is not possible. The losses will always be according to the proportion of investment. So the bank will divide its own part of asset into number of units, which is promised by the client to be purchased on the pre-agreed price. So again, a pre-agreement is required here. And on the same way as we discussed in the purchase of house and construction of house, at the time of after completion of construction or renovation, then there will be an ijara agreement between the client and the bank, and that it will not be possible before the completion of renovation. It should be after the completion of a house or after the renovation of that house. And rent may be fixed on a prevailing market value or with mutual consent, and bank's monthly profit may also be decided as monthly rent of the house, and principal amount will be recovered in the unit price. And in ijara agreement, a lump sum amount of rent is necessary to be fixed for a certain period, and rent after that can be determined with the agreement or on the market value. And each unit will be purchased on the basis of offer and acceptance to make it a valid sale contract. And then another important feature, that is the balance transfer facility. So this product will be used only in those cases where someone has obtained interest-based loan for a house. So in case of conventional banking, if any client has already got financing from any conventional bank, and then the client is paying the principal amount plus interest on it, which is not allowed under Islamic economic system. So if the client wants to quit that system, then the client has that facility from the Islamic banks, that Islamic banks would finance such transaction, and they will make payment of the loan of the conventional bank. The complete payment will be made for the remaining loan, and then that payment will make part of the investment of the Islamic bank into that particular asset. So if it was for a house, so suppose the client has got a loan from a conventional bank of 1 million and purchased a house, and after payment of 30%, that is 70% is remaining, it makes 700,000. So this is still outstanding. So in that case, if Islamic banks makes this payment to the conventional bank, now this will become the investment of the Islamic bank. And this 30%, which is 300,000, will be the investment of the client. So this is the investment of client, and this is investment of the Islamic bank. And then there will be an agreement between the two on this agreed value, and it will be a diminishing musharaka contract. So instead of paying loan plus the principal amount, the client will be paying rent and will become a joint owner in that particular asset. So the valuation of house will be made, and this value will consist of the investment of client in musharaka agreement, and amount of loan paid by bank will be investment of the bank. So musharaka agreement will be signed between the bank and client, in which investment of everyone will be agreed, and both the partners will be owner of the property in their ratio of investment, and the property will be in the name of client, and this is a case of joint ownership, and all other points, they are almost same. And according to the ratio of ownership, they will be responsible for their losses, and bank will divide its own part of assets into units. So the bank's share will be divided into units, and at a pre-agreed price, client will be purchasing the share of the bank in the number of units, and there will be an offer and acceptance to make it a valid contract. And then an ijara agreement will also be signed, and rent will be fixed on the prevailing market value with mutual consent. And bank's monthly profit may also be decided, and bank can announce that the bank's profit for such and such period will be this much %. And again, in ijara contract, a lump sum amount of rent will be fixed, and then for the next period, it can be linked to a certain benchmark. The benchmark might be the market rate, or it may be agreed between the client and the bank. And again, there can be a condition that before 1 year, client cannot purchase bank's units. So the client has to make payment of the rents for the 1 year, and after 1 year, the client will purchase the number of units of the bank. And each unit will be purchased on the basis of offer and acceptance. So now let's discuss some of the examples. In this case, suppose A wishes to start a business of garments. So this is a case of joint venture. So joint venture. So this is for a particular business activity. This is not for a purchase of particular asset. So A wishes to start a business of garments but lacks funds, and B agrees to participate with him for a specified period, say for 2 years. Both invest in the venture 50% each on a musharaka basis, and both agree on a profit sharing ratio, and B's share will be purchased by A. So the B's share of 50% will be purchased by A over some time period, and B's share will be divided into 5 equal units, and at the agreed intervals, B's share is purchased by A on the prevailing market value or any standard agreed between the partners. Every time a unit is purchased by A, his share in musharaka increases, and accordingly the profit sharing is fixed. After the units are purchased by A, the whole property becomes the asset of A. So in this case, suppose they both contributed 100,000 each, and this is the share of A and this is share of B. So this is the contribution of A and B, and it makes their ownership, and it determines their ownership into this venture. And the share of B is divided into 5 equal units of 20,000 each. But these unit price will be determined in the market, or the partners A and B can agree on a certain benchmark, like they might increase the value of the units by any percentage, but it is recommended to determine it on the prevailing market rates. So at the time of payment, if the prevailing market rate is 25%, 25,000, so in that case, 1 unit has been purchased by the partner A. So this 10% unit now goes to partner A, and its share becomes 50% plus 10%, whereas B's share is reduced by 10%. So the new partnership would become 60% and 40%. So this is the new ratio, and accordingly any of the profits will be distributed in the ratio of 60% and 40%. And when the next share is offered for sale, so at that time the price of this unit, which was originally of the worth of 20,000, in the market its rate goes to 30,000. So then this 10% will further increase the share of client A to 70%, and client B's share will reduce to 30%. And at this stage, any of the profits will be distributed at 70% and 30% ratio. And then after that, when the next unit is purchased by A, so its market price might be less than the original value. So if the original value was 20,000, so but the market price might be equal to 15,000. So in that case, this 10% will again change the ratio to 80% and 20%. and this is in case of joint venture. Whereas in case of joint ownership, this value is agreed and it will continue for the whole period. But some latest literature suggests that in case of joint ownership, the unit price should also be determined on the market basis, on the market value basis. Now let's solve this problem. So we have to prepare a schedule here, schedule of payment, by assuming a transaction on December 1st, 2013 between the client and the bank for the house construction, whereby the capital invested by bank and the client is 5 million each. Bank's share is divided into 5 units and will be purchased by the client every 6 months, and rent for the house is fixed at rupees 20,000 per month, and it will be fixed at the market rates every year during the proposed time period. So the rent will be fixed after every 1 year, or it will be renewed after every 1 year, and the prevailing market practice is that the rents, they increase by 10% every year. So suppose we take the same standard and the rents would be increasing. Suppose we take the same standard and rent will increase by 10% every year. And note that the first installment will be due 1 year after the client moves into the house, and that the construction will take about 6 months, and rent will start from 1st of July 2014. So if the agreement was signed at December 1st of 2013, and approximately it will take 6 months, and if it is completed by June 2014, so then we start the agreement from the 1st of July. There might be some time lag between these two contracts, so we assume the contract at July the 1st, 2014. So installment will be determined on the market value basis. So instead of fixing the price of the units at the time of contract, we assume that the market value will be determined at the time of sale of the unit. And the value of the property is expected to increase by 5% every 6 months. So just to show you that how we can increase the share of the unit price, so assume that market price increases by 5% every 6 months at the time of payment or the purchase of unit, and at the time of installment payment of the client. So now we have to prepare a schedule. So let's write the important dates. That is, on December 31st, 2013, there is a contract between the client and the bank. The investment by both the parties, they are determined at the time of contract to be 5 million each. And the construction takes place about 6 months, and the rentals, they start from July the 1st. The client moves into that particular house, and there is an agreement, a lease agreement between the client and the bank, and the rents start from July the 1st, 2013. So the rents, if they are paid in advance of the month, so we have determined that rents, they are 20,000 per month. So the share is 50% each. So in that case, rent will be determined for each party, that is 50% for the client, it is 10,000, and 10,000 for the bank. And now this rent will be paid to the bank by the client every month, and this practice will continue for 6 months, that is until December. And after that, on July the 1st, first installment will be due. So the first installment will become, and this rent will be paid for 6 months, and until December, the client has made payments of 10,000 each 6 times. and it can be made in a lump sum amount, that is rent from the July to December, that is 60,000, and after that on January 1st 2014 the 7th installment of rent will be paid, that is on January 1st 2014 the 7th installment will be paid, and it will be paid for the next 6 durations. Suppose from January to June these payments have been made for 6 months, so it makes up to 60,000, and then the first unit will be offered to be purchased by the client. So then on July the 1st there will be a rent of 10,000 on the prevailing rent rates plus one of the units, that is out of 5 million, if we divide it in 5 units, so per unit value would be 1 million, and if it is determined on the market rate and if it increases by 5%, so it means it increased by 50,000. So at the time the 1 million plus 50,000, it will make the total amount to this level, so it will be 1,060,000. This will be the payment of the first installment of unit, that is the first unit is purchased plus the rental amount is paid. So at that point the percentage of ownership was 50% each, but from now on when the first unit has been purchased and it represents 10% of the share of the bank, the new ownership would become 60% of the client and 40% of the bank. And then we are going to determine the interest rent rate in the market value every year. So 1 year has passed, now the rent has to be increased again. So in this case, so 1 year has already passed, so in this case we are going to increase the amount of rent by 10%. So the rent amount is 20%, 20,000 plus 10% of it would be 2,000. So in total it would become 22,000. Now we have to determine the share of rent of the client and the bank, and the new ownership ratio is 60% and 40%. So in this case, from July the first amount of rent has been paid, and then from August until the second unit of that property is purchased, that is on the 1st of January, we have to make the payments according to the new agreement, that is 60% of 22,000, it would make 13,200 for the client, and 40% of it would be 8,800 for the bank. So this share will be paid to the bank for the next 6 months, that is 1 month has already been paid, and for next 5 months, so we can multiply it with 5 until we make payment from August to December, and it will make 44,000 for the next 5 months. And then on 1st of January 2015, the next amount of payment would be made. The next unit will be purchased. The unit price was 1 million, and after 6 months it increased to 1 million and 1.05 million, that is 50,000 was added into it, and plus again there will be a 5% increase. So it will make it to And then on January 1st, 2015, a rental amount plus the price of the unit will be paid to the bank. So the rental amount is at the same prevailing rate, that is 8,800, plus the unit price that has already appreciated to 101.05 million. Now we are going to appreciate it again by 1.05%. We will multiply it with 1.05%, so to increase it by 5% again. So the next payment in January would become, and now we are going to appreciate the same appreciated unit price by 5%. So the new price would become 11,02,500 plus 8,800. So the installment payment would become so the second installment with rent will make the payment equal to 11,300. So in this case, the second unit of 10% has now been purchased. So the new ownership would become client 70% and the bank 30%. Now the rent is same, that is 22,000, and it will continue for 1 year, and after 1 year again we will appreciate the rent by 10%. So in that case the rent would become 24,200. So now that 24,200 will be divided according to the ratio of investment. So I leave the remaining part to be solved by you. So this sequence will continue. The rents will be paid every month on the prevailing ownership ratios, and after every year the rent amount will increase by 10%, and it will be shared between the client and the bank. That is, client will make the payment to the bank according to the bank's share of ownership into that property, and at the time of purchase of every unit, the client's share would increase. In the next phase, the client's share will go to 80% and bank's share will remain reduced to 20%, and then 90% and 10%, and then bank's share will be 0% and client will be solely become the owner of that particular property. And accordingly, the amount of rent will be distributed between the client and the bank. And at every unit sale and purchase time, the unit's price will appreciate by 5%, and then that will add up into the rent amount to make that installment on a particular date. And after that, the amount of rent will be reduced by that percentage change. So this was all about our today's lecture. So the summary of this lecture is that in this lecture we learned the concept of diminishing musharaka, and we discussed some features and rules of diminishing musharaka in case of joint ownership and joint venture. And we discussed the uses of diminishing musharaka, particularly in house financing, for 4 purposes, that is purchase of house, construction of house, and renovation of house, and balance transfer facility. This was a new phenomena, that is the balance transfer facility. So I hope you enjoyed the lecture and you learned everything, and inshallah we'll see you in the next lecture. Till then, Assalamu alaikum.